You're listening to Champion Cinema with Chris and Chris.
Hello, folks, and welcome to Champion Cinema. This makes no sense, but I'm probably never going to get a chance to say this again. I'm Chris with a Barry Van Dyke C.
Nice. Well, I'm Chris with a killer. Slugs or ants? K.
Perfect. This week, an animals attackable bill, but we're little animals. We thought we'd go little animals for a change with ants from 77 and slugs from 88.
Yeah, a bit of a more random one. I think when people think of animals attack, it's birds and sharks and
Wild animals.
piranhas.
Animals escape from a zoo or something like that, or an alligator.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going for little annoying animals. And little annoying films.
Slow animals and slow films.
Champion Cinema.
So, ants! Exclamation mark, as you said. AKA, it happened at Lakewood Manor, which I'm guessing, because this is a TV movie,
Yeah.
I'm guessing that was the original TV movie title. It happened. It sounds like a TV movie, doesn't
Doesn't it? Yeah, I think it had another AKA Panic at Lakewood Manor as well.
That's pretty good. Yeah. I quite like that.
I probably like the other titles over Ants.
Yeah.
I think Ants is just couldn't be asked.
Because I meant to check, but I'm assuming it had like something like this happened with TV movies. It'd get like theatrical releases in like Britain and overseas and stuff like that. So I'm guessing Ants is like the theatrical release.
Yeah.
Yeah, made 1977, runs for 1 hour and 35 minutes, directed by Robert Shearer. It stars Robert Foxworth as Mike, Linda Day George as Valerie, Gerald Gordon as Tony, Suzanne Summers as Gloria, Karen Lamb as Linda, Barry Van Dyke as Richard, Bernie Casey as Vincent, Brian Denny as Fire Chief. What's the plot, though?
Well, it happened at Lakewood Manor, as you said. A quaint lakeside hotel becomes the unlikely battleground for a showdown between humans and an army of killer ants.
Right.
As the ants march their way up the floors, the guests and staff must navigate a series of increasingly absurd and hilarious situations to avoid becoming ant food. It's a bug's life, but not as you know it.
It's just a bunch of people overreacting for an hour and a half.
To fucking slow ants that you could easily just stomp on.
Exactly, yeah. I always forget to do the bit of trivia, bit of interesting information. Director Robert Shearer directed episodes of Star Trek TNG, DS9 and Voyager, 14 in total.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to bring that up, actually. He's clearly a TV guy. I recognised the name straight away when the movie started. Oh, Robert Shearer, I totally recognised the name. Obviously, yeah, he has done a few, but he did Measure of a Man, a TNG episode, which I've watched hundreds of times.
Oh, cool.
So I've obviously absorbed his name through seeing him on the credits. He was one of the more reoccurring directors for the Star Trek.
Yeah,
series.
brought him back for 3 series, 14 episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's a TV movie, so it has that late 70s, early 80s American TV feel to it, which I like. I do like that. It's a weirdly nostalgic, comfortable look.
Yeah.
It's probably just because I've grown up watching shit like Dallas and Dynasty with my mom as a kid, and I was like, it's like watching a really messed up, fucking weird episode of Dallas.
Everyone gets killed off.
Like Dallas is in its final season, they're just like, I'd have been a fucking ants.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past something like that.
It's like some rejected script for the last season of Dallas. The season after Bobby woke up in the shower.
I would have loved it. Now, I know what you mean, though. I kept expecting a fade out and an advert break to come in and stuff.
Yeah,
It just has that feeling.
Even the way it ends with everyone getting almost like Predator, but it feels like the intro to a TV show.
I laughed when the credits came up. Actually, I thought, Predator credits, but then it wasn't full Predator credits.
No, not really. It was proto Predator credits, is what it was. But yeah, I was 50. I texted you when I was 50 minutes into the film. And I was like, I have one note so far. Just Barry looks fantastic.
Yeah, he does. He's in top form.
I mean, how old would he have been? He would have been in his 20s here, right? Late 20s?
Yeah, mid to late 20s, yeah.
Yeah, he's chiseled out of granite in this.
I was, I indicated in my notes that I sent over to me, preview of me notes. I was initially confused by everybody because everyone just looks generically 70s, though. Apart from Barry Van Dyke, of course.
Yeah,
but
I recognised a few people.
Yeah,
because Linda Day George she's the link between these two films unintentionally. She's in Pieces.
Yeah.
and which was directed by J.P. Simon, who did Slugs. Barry Van Dyke, obviously. Brian Dennehy. Bernie Casey, I recognised. And Suzanne Summers, who plays like it's just kind of the other half of like the guy trying to buy the hotel, the one that gets eaten in bed.
Yeah.
Like she's known for a big sitcom in America in the 70s and 80s, which I can't remember the name of. But I remember seeing her on some sitcom when I was a kid, weirdly, coincidentally, with fucking Patrick Duffy from Dallas. It all comes together. I don't know how we do it.
Yeah, see, I was getting those two ladies confused because they're like, you know, they're blonde.
Pretty blonde 70s ladies.
Yeah, pale complexion, like not a huge amount of makeup, light coloured clothing.
No, I can see that definitely.
Yeah, so like I think I like looked away one bit and she was like, there was just another girl kissing on with Barry Van Dyke, and I was like, is that the girl from the car a month ago? Oh my god, I'm lost.
Like Barry's a player.
I caught up eventually, but yeah, I do love the styles though. Like I love Barry's hair, like full on, like the swish in his hair and stuff. And
what is it as well about? Like it's a style that never went away. Jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah,
but isn't there something about jeans and a t-shirt in the 70s that just looks better?
Yeah, it's those tight t-shirts as well. They're like very form fitting
and tucking in. Yeah. I might have to start tucking in.
Be brave, bring it back.
Why not? Yeah.
And also little leather waistcoats as well.
Yeah, we need them back. Definitely.
Is it the character Mike? He wears like a little brown leather waistcoat the entire.
Yeah, I'm gonna start tucking my t-shirts in and like have one of those beard hair combos that's like all in one piece. That's what I want. Yeah.
Excessive hair, basically. 70s excessive hair.
But yeah, I just kept thinking throughout the movie, it was all, like, especially towards the end when it just got like fucking. It's like not ridiculous in a like, oh, it's gone crazy. Just ridiculous in like a realistic way where I'm just like, it feels like you're watching a dramatic reconstruction of something mental that happened on like Crime Watch or something. You know what I mean?
Well, the fact that they're just all incapable of helping themselves.
Yeah, and the bit where like the fucking helicopter just brings up loads of dust and covers everyone in ants. I was like, what the fuck?
The ants become airborne.
Yeah.
That's one of my highlights of the movie.
And Brian Dennehy's just like, oh, Craig.
Yeah, shit, we didn't think this through. Particular highlight for me is just where the like, I think Barry is somewhere. Was it Barry or was it Mike? But he hands a brush to somebody and he's like, use this brush. And it's like, why don't you just use that brush to escape, for fuck's sake?
I know.
Just brush them away and then walk out of the hotel.
This is the thing. Because of the, like, before I knew it was a TV movie, I knew it wouldn't be like this. Like, because of the poster for Ants, which is basically Suzanne Summers' cleavage covered in ants.
Total exploitation.
I thought they were in for something more like a bit, not grotty, but, you know, like a bit like Slugs, basically.
Yeah,
like I said, I was hoping for Slugs, but with ants in the 70s.
Yeah, the poster, you're right, the poster doesn't really match the tone of the movie, really.
And that was obviously intentional. They were like, we need to get people into cinemas, like, to put someone's tits on the poster.
Yeah, it's a shame. I could have used a smidge more grot.
It could have,
to like, I don't know, elevate the movie a little
because
bit.
I don't know, you hope, like, I don't know, are these ants going to get bigger? Is there going to be a giant ant under the ground?
They all cluster together and form a giant ant.
Like critters or something.
I would have fucking loved that.
But no, they're just fucking ants. And I'm like, okay.
It's so frustrating as well that, like, for about 50% of the movie, everyone's just oblivious to like abundant ants all around the feet.
Yeah.
It's like, wouldn't you look down and go, what are all these ants? They're all like, we must figure out what killed these men. And they're just stomping around like a million ants.
Yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous.
The part of the movie that like gave us a little bit of what I hoped for was the bit where, you know, the dickish inspector guy who's like giving the main character the grief. Yeah. When he gets one on his hand and like falls down the stairs when they start biting him.
Yeah.
And then it zooms in on him dead and just goes, whoa. And I was like, I want that for 90 minutes.
And I was expecting a cut to like a bloodied up skeleton or something as well at some point.
I want that followed by the restaurant scene in Slugs. That's what I want.
Oh no, we never got there.
No,
I was holding my hopes up for when the little kid fell in the skip as well. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Child skeleton incoming.
But then you just keep remembering, it's a 70s TV movie. They're not going to do that.
It's going to get away.
There's not even some like export version where they like shot extra gore for Italy or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a shame.
But yeah, to me, the whole film just felt like a spoof without jokes. That's what I was like, this should be a joke there. That would be funny if he said this.
Yeah.
So it's just it's oddly it's like it's not like it's fucking bad. It's just oddly bland for a movie that's so hyped up and like everyone's on the edge of their seat. You're just like,
it's very straight.
I don't know why you'd be scared.
It's like there's a heavy influence of like, you know, like almost like disaster movies. You know, like that movie, like I can't remember the one where they're in the fucking skyscraper and it's on fire or whatever.
Oh, Terror and Inferno.
Terror and Inferno. It gives us, there's elements of the movie that feels like it's kind of like it's trying to be that kind of thing. It's like you said, really, you hit on it. It's like it's trying to hold itself up like it's a disaster movie almost or something weird. Where it needed just a bit of extra comedy or something. I mean, because the premise is absurd. It's totally absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that the two guys die at the start of the movie, and I guess they kind of die because they're being smothered. Although no, they don't really die because they're being smothered. They kind of die because of the poison from the ants, right?
The first guy does. I think the second guy just dies from being fucking smothered.
The doctor, you'd be covered in bites for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, if these things are poisonous and biting you, and it takes hundreds, the film establishes it takes hundreds of bites to kill you. One bite isn't enough, which makes sense. But then, like, well, wouldn't the doctor be like, oh, he's covered in hundreds of bites? Something must have been. But instead, the doctors are like, it's a mystery. It's like,
wouldn't you be annoyed as fuck if, like, I don't know, you just found me, like, unconscious and took us to hospital? The doctor was like, I don't know what's wrong with him. Go and fucking find it yourself.
He's asking a builder, like, just a guy who drives a fucking digger. You go figure it out.
Yeah. Or he's like, could have been a snake. I don't know, go back to the place you found him and have a look for the snake. I'd be like, how about fuck you, doctor?
Like,
I'll find out yourself.
I would have been like, okay, but did you find a snake bite on him?
No, but
no, but I didn't look, so fair play.
Anyway, time for lunch.
He's like just the worst doctor ever.
I saw in the credits, I think he was credited as Stacy Keach Sr. I think he might be Stacy Keach's dad.
I was gonna say, that's a random thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously moving on to the actual point of the movie, the ants themselves, like just straight in the barrel in terms of like threats. Like ants would not be a threat. I'm sorry.
It's like it's almost like they tried to think outside the box too much. Like they were like, okay, what's big? Like, Jaws, that was big. Like a couple of years ago, we need to do a monster film as well, but we won't do that. We won't do octopus or whale. Let's go. Let's fucking ants.
And then they like really struggle the rest of the movie to make them feel threatening.
I know, that's what I mean.
Way.
Like when you said like the concept is like absurd.
Yeah.
They don't lean into the fact that it's silly enough.
No.
It needs to be fucking way sillier, basically. Yeah. It needs to know it's a bit daft and just have fun with it, but it takes it way too seriously.
I guess that's why films eventually came along, like Piranha and things like that, or Piranha 2, whichever one. You know, like they kind of recognise the absurdities, so they kind of like use humour. Yeah,
Piranha's basically a spoof of Jaws, straight up spoof of Jaws.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. This may be a short review.
I'll just look through my notes. I kind of laughed at the whole bit where Mike just angrily... I feel like Mike made it worse. So, like, Mike kind of gets a heads up what's going on with these killer ants.
Yeah.
And then he just rushes outside, gets in the digger, and just starts furiously digging the whole digger.
Yeah.
And it seems to be... His aim is, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to smash up the ant nest. And like in my head, I was like thinking like he's almost like there should have been a scene where he's gone, oh fuck, I've just made that worse, haven't I? The ants are now super enraged.
It's kind of the equivalent of going, oh fuck, I've got a wasp's nest right above me door. I'm just going to smack it with a baseball bat.
No protection. I'm going to go out with shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I'm going to wheel out me 1-year-old baby that's in a pram, and I'm going to put them on the porch.
I'm going to make them watch how a real man takes care of business.
I'm going to go out there and smash the shit out of it with a baseball bat. That was like that whole scene, and it just kept going and going as well, him and the digger.
Yeah.
It's just like, what the fuck? I laughed at the bit where they rescue the young girl on the ladder from the fire truck.
Oh yeah, that was good. Like they're like she's hanging there and they're like, right, take it higher.
What was the logic?
I don't know.
Like, my first command would have been, shit, retract the ladder and lower it so she's close at the floor. But Dennehy is like, raise the ladder so that when she falls, she just dies instantly. Like maybe that was his logic.
Teach her a lesson not to go in hotels full of ants.
It's just like, it just seemed like a needless excuse for a stunt, basically. It was a cool stunt. Oh, yeah. Like having a stunt man, it looked like it was basically done as it appeared. Like a man was on the end of the ladder and he had a hold of a stunt woman's hands, and they just fucking put them up in the air, like 100 foot in the air.
I did read on the wiki page, because I didn't dig too far for information about this.
No.
But it says the guy who did the stunt at the start, like, literally did get buried with all that muck and just had basically a hose pipe to breathe through.
Yeah.
Like, that's a bloody risky stunt.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
No, but that feels fucking awful.
Back in the 70s when they're just like...
And another stunt where, like I said to you, I audibly gasped when Barry fell over the balcony. I was like, oh, not Barry. Don't kill Barry.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But thankfully, he came back. Nothing kills Barry Van Dyke.
Nope.
Other actors actually thinking about Star Trek. So the guy, I'm just looking down the list. The basically the only black guy in the movie.
Oh yeah, Bernie Casey.
Bernie Casey, sorry, yeah, there he is. He was in Star Trek. He was in Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
He's one of those guys who's been
TV
I was
guy.
watching, I realised, was like, oh, he's Bill and Ted. He's the guy, the history teacher in Bill and Ted.
Yeah, Bill and Ted as well. Yeah, I recognised him from that. And then there was another guy, Bruce French, I think, the scientist guy, basically. The
I recognised him. Yeah,
he's very much a TV guy, but he's been in like a whole bunch of Star Trek as well. He was like an O'Compton in Voyager. I think he was in Enterprise and one of the Star Trek movies as well, Star Trek Insurrection.
Okay.
So he's just very much a Star Trek guy. So that was interesting. Like, I guess there's just a thing going through this, like somebody, a producer or something, must have been involved in this movie that has links to Star Trek ultimately.
Maybe, yeah.
Interesting. Although they didn't use humour, there was some unintentional humour towards the end of the movie.
Yes.
Firstly, the breathing tubes.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that. He was like, don't breathe on them, as he's just talking and breathing.
Like, I understand the, like, don't agitate them.
Yeah.
So, just to explain to the listener, they establish that the ants themselves aren't really aggressive. They just react badly if, like, getting stood on and stuff, understandably. So if they all just remain calm and silent and still, then the ants won't hurt them, and then they can await a rescue. Yeah. But he tears off strips of wallpaper, rolls them into a tube and goes, here, breathe through these. It's like, okay, why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Very strange. And it just makes them all look like dickheads, basically.
I'll tell you one thing, like, especially that scene and the scene with Suzanne Summers in bed. Like, I honestly thought this was going to be one of those movies that would just make us itch and like go, ugh, like just feel like I had something else. It weirdly didn't.
No, I just don't think they really did a good job making the ants feel creepy or anything, really. They just got stock footage of ants on various surfaces, and that's probably its like weakest thing, really. It didn't really use the ants to any good.
To compare the two movies, Slugs does a much better job of making you go, ugh.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been an interesting double bill, this, to say, like, how to do it badly and how to do it quite well, basically.
Yeah, and how we lean into daftness as well. Yeah. Unintentional or not with Slugs, I don't know.
But the last, like, funny bit that did pop me quite a bit was just when the businessman guy, the Tony character, when he decides right at the end, rightly so, he's thinking, what the fuck am I doing? I'm sat here with a tube in my mouth, covered in ants. I'm just going to fucking get out of here. Like any normal person.
Aim for the pool.
He aims for the pool, but he just totally fails. He jumps for the swimming pool, and I don't know, the swimming pool must be like 20 foot from the hotel. Yeah. I would have loved a shot where the camera just like backs out and you can just see the pool's like miles away. He had no chance. But it's like almost like a Family Guy joke. He just jumps out the window and you don't see him hit the ground, but you just see a shot of him like on the ground with his arms and legs, all that funny angles. Like he just totally failed. Oh, it's funny.
So that's It Happened at Lakewood Manor, aka Slugs. Ants, sorry.
I wouldn't recommend it. I think in summary, unless you really love this type of stuff, it doesn't do anything interesting, and it's just kind of dull.
It's very dull.
Yeah.
I mean, interesting cast of like people at the time and like people who would go on to other things and stuff like that. So it's got that in it. Young Brian Dennehy is like
crazy. Pre First Blood, I guess.
Yeah.
He sweats a lot. I mean,
well,
I didn't make note of that.
It does look hot. It was shot. I was like, where's it shot? It was shot in Canada.
Must have been height of summer or something. Yeah, because I think you even notice Barry Van Dyke's got a bit of a sweat on at one point. Yeah. His shiny muscles.
Yeah. Oh, he's glistening.
Fucking beautiful.
Beautiful, man. So as for merchandise, Kino Lorber put it out on Blu-ray, quite a jam-packed Blu-ray actually.
Bloody
You've got an audio commentary with film historian Lee Garman and ex-Fangoria co-chief editor Rebecca McKendry. The extras, you got an audio interview with production assistant and daughter of producer Alan Landsberg, Valerie Landsberg, an audio interview with Barry Van Dyke that runs for 40 minutes.
Oh.
An interview with Barbara Brownell, Moosey Dryer, and Anita Gillette, all the actors, a few actors in the movie. So,
Nice
and they're all like half an hour, 40 minutes each. So
That's pretty cool, yeah, for any fans of the movie.
Exactly, because people, there is a section of people who just love 70s TV movies and stuff, and I can totally see why.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, there's a weird sense of comfort to them. Sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, there isn't much. Well, there isn't any art.
I was gonna say.
But I just thought I sent you the link there to there isn't a huge amount, but the international posters.
Like I said, man, that's an eye-catching poster.
I really like that
Summer's
poster.
cleavage covered in that. It's a really cool poster.
Its biggest sin, like you said, is it doesn't represent the film at all.
No, it doesn't represent the tone of it at all.
No, but you see that poster and you think, okay, yeah, I want to say that. It's interesting.
I like that German one.
I was going to say though, there's some pretty decent. I assume like this is Blu-ray art, but the German poster's really nice. Yeah, it is
nice,
Blu-ray, isn't it? Just seeing the logo and the one with the hand. I guess that's reminiscent of something. I feel the French cover.
I like that, which I'm assuming it was for some TV show, and it's just got ants hide your sugar. That's my favorite.
Someone's just kind of taking the piss a little bit.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're showing that ants film again tonight. Quick, mock up an ad, quick.
Yeah. Hide your sugar.
That fucking one with the hand looks like a remake poster or something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It gives us vibes of something else. I mean, obviously it's way too gory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the slightly chewed wrist and stuff. Like, you're getting none of that in the movie.
No, not even a drop of blood, really.
Yeah, I could almost believe that was for a remake.
Yeah, like a remake, yeah.
Champion Cinema.
So we're moving forward a decade to 1988 when Slugs came out. Run time of 1 hour and 29 minutes. Interesting fact, the film was apparently based on the 1982 novel Slugs.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah, which I've not read or anything.
You've got the title wrong, by the way. It's actually Slugs, the movie. Slugs, the movie.
Yeah, I did notice on the international posters as well, Slugs, Muerte Viscosa.
Oh, what's that mean?
Spanish title, I guess.
Yeah.
So directed by J.P. Simon.
Jean Piquet-Simon.
Who is a bit of a schlockmeister himself.
Well, yeah, I mean, did pieces, that's enough.
And also The Rift, which I watched fairly recently.
It's one of your favourites.
And I really enjoyed it, I think I saw it as a kid and was like creeped out by it, but watching it as an adult, it's just like ridiculous and fun. So starring Michael Garfield as Mike Brady, Kim Terry as Kim Brady, Philip Michelle as Don Palmer, Alicia Morrow as Maureen Watson, Santiago Alvarez as John Foley.
What a name.
Yeah, some Spanish names grouping in here.
Awesome name.
Concha Cuetos as Maria Palmer, John Pataglia as Sheriff Reese, and finally Emilio Linda as David Watson. So what is it all about?
Well, in a sleepy, quaint little tune, people are dying in gruesome ways due to an outbreak of giant I could just swallowed my own tongue. Giant flesh-eating slugs. It's up to the dynamic duo of Mike and Don to sort it out. That's it. That's basically the entire
It's simplistic, isn't it?
It's very simple.
There's like, I feel like the movie attempts at like some sort of subplot somewhere, but I couldn't be asked to pay attention because those scenes were always in equi corridors or bathrooms. Like it just didn't play well over the surround sound. There was multiple times where I was like, "What are they saying?" Can't tell what they're saying.
I keep telling you, stop watching these movies like fucking mixed in mono on your giant surround sound system.
That's really hard to tell sometimes. Because that's one thing we didn't mention with Ants is like there's kind of a subplot where somebody's wanting to buy the
hotel.
Funnily enough, no, it just clicked in my head. Yeah, so he's trying to buy the hotel, and there's a whole thing on. I suppose in this movie, somebody's trying to buy the the ground, like the town.
Yeah. Fuck it, they are quite similar, aren't they? Yeah.
Didn't click until just that moment.
Same here, and I watched them back to back.
Same plot, basically.
Yeah,
that's quite interesting. That.
Yeah. Like I was going to say, like based on a novel by a British novelist called Sean Houston. I looked him up. he's been writing since the 80s. He's still writing today, I think. Interestingly, I found out he wrote the novelization for the Terminator back in the day. In the 80s.
Random.
And he was shockingly disappointed by the film.
Wow.
He was just like, oh, Jesus, basically. And basically telling people, don't watch it. If you like the book, don't watch it. But apparently now he's developed like something of a soft spot for guilty pleasure, which you'd have to at some point.
I wonder if he just wrote it way more psychological or something. I don't know.
Well, probably. I was thinking, I thought that the first time I watched it, I was like, it's based on a book. I was like, what's the book like? And I'm sure the book's a lot better.
Yeah. Probably get to the heads of what people are feeling at the moment they're dying or something, or God knows.
Because he wrote a sequel to the book called Breeding Ground, which I think, because if you look at the end of the film, does kind of leave it open, doesn't it? Like hoping there'll be a sequel. But Breeding Ground was never made into a movie, probably because of the lack of success for this film.
Yeah, because it's not. I mean, even like a movie like The Blob kind of went under the radar for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So I guess like this film was like even more so. I think I might have been vaguely aware of it at some point, but it's not a film I've ever really seen or it's never been on my radar.
Seen it once before.
Yeah.
I think, actually thinking back, I think it was the first film I ever watched on Netflix.
Really?
Yeah. When I got Netflix for the first time, I was like, Slugs. And I was like, what's the guy who made Pieces? And that was the first thing I watched on Netflix.
Yeah, it's I feel like I've seen a more modern film. What's that film that, it's like the poster's like a bathtub with a slug coming out.
Slither. Slither's the movie that just rips off Cronenberg Shivers.
Right. Because it is a concept I've kind of seen before, basically the slimy, creepy crawlies and all those.
And I will say, it's you can definitely tell it's directed by the guy who made Pieces.
Yeah. Just
because of the weird lack of retakes for dialogue and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's very much so. I love there's an early scene where the cop's climbing through the window. I think it's the cop. And he absolutely twats his shoulder on the window frame. I don't know if you caught it.
No, I didn't.
It really bangs his shoulder as he's going through the window. And I just imagine the actor was like, oh shit, I think the scene was good, but I think I banged myself. And the director's like, nah, just keep going. He's like,
I think I fucked that up, should do it again. Oh, I wasn't watching. Moving on.
Because it's really if you're watching that scene, I can only imagine you must have turned your eyes away from the screen.
Oh yeah,
for that moment. Because he absolutely twats himself, bless it.
Hey, one thing though, as far as dialogue goes, there's some awkward. There's two scenes in particular. There's a lot of awkward pre-shagging dialogue, and it's like watching. If there's a few pornos from back in the day that try to do something but it's still a porno, mixing genres. This feels like a splatter porno, but all the sex is cut out in certain bits.
Yeah. Apart from one bit where it full on goes bobbing ass. Oh no!
That bit, yeah.
But yeah,
I thought you meant the prank at the end.
Oh no, that too. To be fair, I did touch on a few awkwardnesses throughout the movie. To be honest, I think it was written by J.P. Simon as well, wasn't it?
I think so.
I wonder if it's one of them things where he kind of wrote first, whoever wrote the first pass script, and they made the actors stick very rigidly to the script. Because there's just a few scenes where I almost felt like the dialogue was I cannot believe that just happened. Very much wooden as fuck.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if the script was written in Spanish and then translated into English for the English actors, which happens a lot for movies like this.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't help the fact that the movie's 50% dubbed or something, it feels like. And I don't mean dubbed as in they did Lupin. I mean, I feel because there's a lot of Spanish actors, and I wonder if they had thick Spanish accents, so they just dubbed it with an American voice.
Well, I think what they're doing is they probably don't know English, and they're probably just saying the lines phonetically, and then obviously they've just dubbed them all. Because I was looking on IMDb before, and it says all the scenes that are dubbed were shot in Spain, whereas everything else was shot in America.
Yeah,
so
makes sense. Yeah. So there is just an overall awkwardness running through the movie.
Oh yeah,
a little
definitely.
bit.
Yeah, and it almost makes it feel like a cut and paste movie, it's two movies jammed together. Or something.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt the movie massively.
No,
I massively. I mean, going off the back of Ants, I really enjoyed this movie quite a bit more.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely got that running for it.
I think when you said it was dragging a bit, but I was like, it's like a TikTok compared to Ants.
To admit, has laughed that. Yeah, I think that just some of the pacing towards the end of the movie, or the third act, I felt like it was stop start.
It drags the tails a bit. towards the end. Yeah, they kind of like stretch it out for as long as possible of them like dicking around in the sewer. I think for the last 20 minutes I put it in 1.25 speed.
Yeah.
I was like, that's enough.
I need to start doing that more.
Yeah.
Just like double speed. Fuck
I mean, Jesus, we didn't talk about them on the show or anything, but like when I went down to yours for a week a few weeks ago, we watched like all the American Ninja movies in a day. But like the fourth one was just dragging so much. We watched the last half hour in 1.5 speed, and it was the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, we should definitely do that more often.
Yeah.
The more slower paced, action orientated movies.
Yeah, like any fucking movie with it, like in the first 5 minutes, we're like, oh no, it's going to drag. And it's like 1 hour 40 straight at 1.5 speed. Much better. You save about 10 minutes, it's great.
It barely hurts for American Ninja 4, it barely hurt the pacing of the movie.
No, at times there was like characters that were speaking. I was like, why is he just speaking normal speed though? It's in 1.5 speed.
Like,
What's
how
going on?
slow is this film put together? Fuck's sake.
But let's talk about, some of the gorier moments in the movie.
Yeah, there's some choice bits.
So the bit that like got me the most when I first saw it, just because, two people are naked and absolutely covered in blood and slugs. That's a fucking gross moment.
It is, yeah. I think that it's a lot as well visually. Because, I mean, he's banging her, to be brutal.
It's a textbook bang, is what it is.
It's a bobbing ass, and it just smashes to it as well.
Yeah,
there's no
lead
lead
up to it.
There's a scene beforehand, and then next scene, and it's just his ass.
Bobbing ass.
And it's like, oh my God. And she's making all sorts of crazy noises.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember if she just suddenly realizes the slugs on the floor or something. I can't remember how they get to the slugs.
I think he like needs a break. So he has a swig of whiskey, and she's like, oh fuck, gets up and like basically stands, and a carpet is absolutely covered in slugs.
I mean, firstly, imagine barefoot standing on a floor full of slugs.
It's bad enough going out, like putting the bin out and stuff, and accidentally barefoot and standing a slug and being like, oh fuck, imagine standing like 50 of them.
Oh God. Yeah. But yeah, it's an effective scene. Just her like writhing about on the floor with blood on her and stuff, and like I don't know if they're real slugs or just like rubber ones or something, but it looks really good.
I think they're real slugs for like in the lab and stuff. But I think a lot of the time they're probably just like molds, like fucking jelly or something.
Yeah, but it
looks good though.
Scene. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And the scene where a guy, it's this other couple that they focus on a bit. The guy doing the deal, and like his wife's a bit of an algae, so she's like. Falls asleep and then leaves the lettuce in the sink, and they get covered in slugs. So she's chopping up all this lettuce with a slug in it. Husband eats it, and like for a couple of days, he's like, oh, I got cramp.
Yeah.
Until like he gets to his business deal, and basically just his fucking face explodes in the restaurant. It's like the best scene in the movie. Yeah.
I know, it's so ridiculous. Just starts pissing blood out his nose first.
Yeah.
Falls to the floor and tries. It looks like he's almost going to claw his face off.
Yeah, yeah.
And then just the shot that I sent you and what's up there.
Oh yeah.
They're like, I guess it's like worms exploding out of his eye.
Of his eyeballs. Yeah.
It's really good.
So I was thinking, like, it's just such an over-the-top, like, just type of death where it's just insanely loud and vicious and stuff. And I was like, we often talk about you taking notes from bad guys over the years.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, this death feels like something Chris, the fictional bad guy, would try and concoct to kill someone. Like, I want his face to explode and worms to come out of his eyes.
Like engineers, worms that live in people's
some
eyes.
little, like, thingy of poison to put in someone's drink and then just wait, like...
Definitely. That's make note of that. I love, though, the fact off the back of that scene, it's like a day later or something. Maybe it's even the same day, who knows? But they're like, because the whole point in that scene is he's like trying to close a deal with the two people that are like trying to buy the town or whatever the surprise.
Yeah.
And then like a day later, they're just like, there's another guy, the other guy's boss, who's like, we must complete the deal.
Yeah.
And like and like Sue's there, like big shout out for Sue.
Yeah.
Because Sue's all like, oh, I don't know about, like, I just can't get the image out of my head.
Yeah.
And the two men in the room are like, you just need to get past it, Sue.
Yeah, I love like a husband, a business partner's like, he's still talking about that. That was like 24 hours ago.
It's like, yeah, like you wouldn't be absolutely traumatized by somebody's face exploding into worms.
You would literally just keep zoning out every 5 minutes and thinking about it and going, oh God.
Like, get that lady therapy, for fuck's sake. Like, I can't believe they put her back to work straight away.
That reminds us, though, with a weird coincidence. I was just like, going from like random post to random post on Reddit the other night.
Mm-hmm.
It was a post about just some woman saying like, I think my husband has been like pouring bleach into my plants. One of those things.
fuck.
And then someone was like, please do something now because it reminds me of this post from like a year ago. So I clicked on it. This fucking poor woman ended up in hospital. With like, she just felt ill and like awful, and the doctors were like, "What the fuck? Like, what the fuck's wrong with her?" And then her husband just confessed that he'd been like chopping up and dicing up slugs and putting them in her food.
Oh god!
And I was like, "What the fuck? That's fucking insane."
Yeah, because you can literally die from eating slugs.
Yeah, I mean, look what happened to that guy in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure you get worms popping out your eyes.
I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't want to try it, put it that
No.
way. Yeah, I think I should have looked it up before we did this. Somewhat recently, I think a 19-year-old died. I don't know if it was in this country or in America, but they were like, it was a dare.
Yeah, I remember hearing about
swallow a
that.
slug and it like killed him. So yeah,
Fuck's sake.
not things to fuck around with.
Nope, definitely not.
But yeah, no, there's some surprising like gore in this movie overall.
Oh yeah.
You know, the guy trying to axe his own hand off.
That's. I love how quick that just evolves into fucking insanity. That scene.
He's got a slug biting his finger, so he's like fucking reaching for the axe.
Just goes full Evil Dead 2. And then I love like the quickness of cutting his own hand off, his wife walking in, him holding up his stump, she screams, and then the fucking greenhouse just explodes in the space of 10 seconds.
I know, it's funny. I think I was watching it with Stacey, and she kind of like looked away or looked down from the screen for a moment, and she missed the whole, you know, the fire and the tank exploding, the jerry can. So she was just like, "Did he just explode there?"
Like, fucking hell, these slugs are lethal.
Which is just funny. Like you could edit that little bit out where you see the can explode and just make it like,
just right on him looking up at her screaming with his bloody stump, just and everyone's like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah. But yeah, there's quite a lot about the movie I liked. There's some dislikes, so don't get us wrong.
Oh yeah.
But I quite liked the start of the movie with the way the title's a slug trail.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it?
That
Yeah,
was quite nice.
Yeah, I think from looking at a cover of the book I found, I think that's the exact like font of the book as well.
That's it. It's always stuff like that, isn't it? That comes from books.
Yeah.
Like whenever you think, oh, that's cool or a good idea, it's like it never surprises me when I hear like, oh, that's from the novel. Or, that's why it's good. With some of the stuff like I didn't quite like about the movie, just to balance it out, like the cop patter between like the chief, like, oh my god.
I mean, it's not the main cop, but like the guy who I think is also in Pieces that he goes to see at the end with the white hair,
like the sheriff dude or whatever. Yeah,
or he's like trying to get authorization to like shut such and such down. He's like, "You don't have the authorization to say happy birthday." And then as he leaves, he just picks up his bag and goes, "Mutant slugs, crazy asshole."
Like lingering on it. It's almost like, did he ad-lib that scene or something?
Fuck knows. I just couldn't stop looking at his fucking his styrofoam like thing his burger came in. It just looked like fries absolutely drenched in tomato sauce with a slice of tomato and peas. I was like, what the fuck? Where's he been?
Grossest looking food ever.
Yeah. And then instantly his toilet starts fucking jumping up because there's slugs in there.
He got his karma got him, I guess.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I think like, how did he die? I guess did he go try and take a shit? And
he probably went for a shit and a slug went up his ring piece.
Like, I want to see these deleted scenes. Man.
Yeah, they're the deaths you want to see. Someone getting attacked by slugs in the toilet. Yeah.
But yeah, the main sheriff guy, like, he's cranky as fuck.
Oh yeah.
So like he clearly needed like a career break or something.
I think the way he just starts fucking starting shit with like the photographer, like the guy taking notes at the crime scene.
Yeah.
Where he just turns around and goes, "What are you looking at me for? And you're going to bend it down, look at me. Looking at me."
So it's like weird cop patter just in general. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that didn't work.
That's the stuff that feels like it was just written in Spanish, probably sounded cool, and then in English it was just very basic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the opening the movie as well. I know we're jumping around here, but like,
that's right.
It just felt, you know, like they're just ripping off Jaws, which of course they were.
Yeah,
but the sad thing that like the filmmakers like misunderstand is like when the girl dies at the start of Jaws, there's a point to that though because they like find her body on the beach and it starts the plot moving. Yeah, but like, you know, with this movie, they're just like they don't understand what they're doing, so they're just like a girl who takes her pants off and it's a bit of titillation. She's got a pair of knickers on. and then just a guy gets murdered by slugs, and the movie starts. It's like
Do they ever reference that scene in the movie though? Because that honestly just feels like, thinking about it, feels like something that they just shot later to have something strong to start the movie with.
You could literally put that at the start of any movie that involves like some sort of monster,
something
basically.
in the water. Yeah.
So that was a bit random.
Yeah.
And I thought that the music was fucking batshit crazy. If I'm
The
being
music's
honest, about the movie.
to be honest, right? The music is that fucking varied.
Yeah.
Because the score to Pieces is like part library music and part bits and pieces from other movies.
Yeah.
And I thought, is he done the same thing here? Because like there's a scene at the start where it's just like him and the cop driving somewhere, and it's like mad military like evening news music, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, it sounds like a mashup between fucking Friday the 13th and Predator.
Yeah, well, interestingly, I'd say I had made note. It's like Mad Max meets Friday the 13th. It's like a mix. I mean, obviously, I think where that's coming from is because the music's performed by Madley, the Royal Philharmonic.
Is it?
Yeah, it says in the credits.
Fucking hell.
And I'd had to double check because I was like, did I imagine that? So I double checked in the credits before we recorded this. So yeah, I guess that's the boombasticness is coming from them. And they just wanted to get the money's worth out of them. They're like, can you
they were just like, go for it.
Yeah, because it's just multiple times in the movie where it's like, fuck me. Like, I had to turn it down because it was like doing me head in.
Yeah, the score's like 10 times bigger than the movie.
Yeah,
basically.
and it's good. Don't get us wrong.
It does help sometimes.
Yeah, the music is good, and it's, if you put it on separate to the movie and listen to it, you'd be like, oh, it sounds very cinematic and dramatic. But just against some of these scenes, it was like mental, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, there was just notes wise, there's definitely like the Friday the 13th music that goes dun 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 dun. That's in the film.
yeah. I guess maybe they just ripped it off, basically.
Oh, probably, most likely.
Maybe.
Maybe it was one of those things where like the director was like, I want something like this. This kind of feel, and they went, all right, and just did that.
I suppose rather than saying ripped off, I should say inspired by. Because it was Tim Souster, I think, was the composer overall of the
well, let's just say this: he composed his arse off.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe
a lot of music going on. It's like he had like fucking 12 hours to do it and just drank loads of coffee and went mental.
Yeah. And lastly, the only other thing that did kind of irk us was the bit at the end. So, firstly, there's teenagers are set up at the start of the movie, and then they just disappear for like
to be honest, when they showed up again, I was like, fuck, are these people? I was like, oh yeah, from the start.
Yeah, like you almost think the movie's setting up that these are going to be the main characters almost, and then they just disappear for an hour. Yeah. But they come back, and there's a shy girl who doesn't want to get involved, but she begrudgingly goes along to like the meet up to drink beer and stuff. There's a guy kissing on her and trying to put his hand up her skirt, and she's like, no, I'm not that type of girl.
She's like, back off, and he's like, well, screw you then, bitch. And I was like, bit harsh, mate.
Yeah. And then there's just another guy, like one of the other lads from the group. He's he's watching from the bushes, and he puts on a skull mask. Because
we should also mention this scene takes place on Halloween night, so it's a perfect movie to watch on Halloween.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Because that's the whole point. They're having like a Halloween party in the woods, aren't they, basically? Yeah. And I thought his intentions were like, he's going to slip on the skull mask and like jump out at her at the bushes and give her a fright. But it appears to me like his plan was he was just going to like sexually assault her, basically.
Yes, it's fucking... I could not remember that scene at all. I was like, what the fuck? Was this cut out on Netflix?
He just like looked away.
Yeah.
Because he jumps out the bushes. So she like walks off from her boyfriend after having the argument, and the guy with the mask jumps out and pins at the ground and starts putting his hand up her skirt.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
Thankfully she gets away, but then, she decides to jump in a big rusty water tank and get eaten by slugs.
So this is the true thing that irks me about that scene. Like, really, how that scene should have played out is it should have been the lad, really.
Yeah.
The lad who jumped on her and was trying to like fucking sexually abuse her or something. He should have been the one that like chased after her and stumbled down the sewer and got eaten by the slugs.
Yeah, he just kind of goes on with his life.
Yeah, he just gets away with it. Yeah. and it's her who's like trying to fucking fight off two lads who are trying to sexually abuse her. Yeah. She's the one that falls down and gets eaten by slugs. Yeah. So, I did think like, I mean, it's the famous the girl gets eaten by the monster type stuff. So that's why they did it. But I just think the movie would have played better if the roles were reversed in that bit.
Yeah. Oh, you know, if you just want more, go kill them both.
Yeah, just have them both die.
Yeah, both of them die.
Yeah. If I was going to remake this movie, I would do one of those two things.
Yeah,
basically.
definitely. Yeah. So, is there any posters? I mean, there was new artwork for the Arrow release, which I'm going to talk about.
Well, yeah. So let's because there isn't any more recent, not like commissioned prints that you can buy or anything. I did have a look about. Couldn't really say anything. But yeah, there is the Arrow art. That's
Which
quite
is nice.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, and it's not like trying to use something that isn't in the film. I guess it is the guy, the restaurant guy.
It resembles the restaurant scene.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me. Actually, I totally remember the UK video box now looking at it. Shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of their memories that's just faded
Just
away.
popped in there. Yeah, I've never. I don't know. Just something about the blue. Just instantly was like, yeah, I remember that from VJs.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? It was an 18 as well.
Of course it was. Yeah. That's a damn good cover as well.
Yeah, it is. It's mysterious. Gives you an idea of what's going on. I like the original poster though as well.
It's so fucking garish. With, like, you half his skull like showing in his spine and just slugs eating him away. It's fucking.
It's just got it all going on, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it makes you think, oh, that's got to be brutal, that film.
I don't know if this is true because it sounds mental, but I don't know. Maybe it is. Like, apparently, this won like best special effects at the Goya Awards in Spain, like the Spanish Oscars.
I could believe it.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
The special effects are really good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're effectively done. They don't linger at like too long.
No.
They do it the right amount, basically. Yeah, so it's really cool. I really like it's a goofy bit, but I like the bit where there's like a little slug that has teeth. It's got like little fangs.
Yeah.
When he goes down to like touch it, and it's probably like a big fake finger or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like got like little vampire fangs. The slug. It's quite funny.
What's up with that VHS German VHS cover on the bottom right with like the woman in the red leather skirt?
Well, you've got to sell it to the Germans.
What's going on there?
There's some tight mini skirt.
That just makes us believe that it is a porno somewhere.
It's like I'm sure there probably is a porno somewhere called Slugs. You look
Well, probably. Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be googling that after the show.
So as for the Arrow Blu-ray, they released it all the way back in 2016. It's amazingly, I was always tempted to get it, but then I was like, I'll wait till it's on sale. But I really want to get it now because it's got a commentary by the author of the novel, Sean Houston. On it.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
I'd like to hear him talk through the whole film.
Yeah, especially if he's like kind of not fully enamored by it.
But like I say, he seems to have like, maybe that's where the quote comes from of him like softening his opinion on it over the years. And he kind of sees it as a bit daft.
Yeah.
Because, just think, man, like if the book would have come out like early in his career and then he hears that like film rights have been bought, you'd be so excited.
Yeah.
And then say like, you get this back and you think, this isn't my book. It's very silly and daft and weirdly European.
Yeah.
But it's also got an audio commentary by filmmaker Chris Alexander and various interviews with crew members and actors and such. It's typical like solid Arrow release.
Cool.
Yeah.
I guess is it long out of print? Maybe.
No, I think
Still about.
I don't know.
I could
Maybe
be
you can
tempted
still get it.
if I can get my hands on it. I could be tempted. I didn't totally hate the movie.
I'll have a quick look on their shop just to see if it is still available. Slugs. Yeah, still there. It's £15 at the moment. Oh, it says sold out, so I don't know if that means out of print or it's just sold out at the moment.
Keep my eye out. Yeah. My eyes open even.
So yeah, that was Ants and Slugs.
Yes, very good. A random double bill, as we always do, but that works oddly well together.
Yeah, well, it worked well as like two little monsters, like a monster theme, two like creepy crawly type monster. But yeah, there were so many links between them as usual.
Yeah, we'll have to look at the movie caught my eye, The Nest with cockroaches.
I literally just started watching that on YouTube after Slugs. Yeah, it was on the same channel as Slugs.
Yeah, I watched the trailer for it, like the original trailer back in the day, and I thought, looks quite good. At least the trailer did.
Well, if we ever do this again, that's one for the list.
Definitely, yeah.
For the mini creepy crawly monster movies. But yeah, I will say about Slugs, like if you're a fan of Pieces and you've never checked out Slugs, I think you'll enjoy it. It's not as fun as it's not wall to wall mental and fun as Pieces. True. But you can definitely has the same feel in certain parts. Of just like all of a sudden, just fucking insane gore comes out of nowhere when you're least expecting it. And
true.
Daft dialogue and just general daftness. So, yeah. Next week, continuing our horror delights, we're going to do two classic monsters with Dawn of the Mummy and Silver Bullet.
Yeah, something different.
So that's that. Hey, you can catch us on Instagram at Champion Cinema Pod. Rate and review the show on iTunes and Spotify. Sorry, Apple Podcasts. I'm fucking some boomer. Keep calling it iTunes. Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and also Google Podcasts doesn't fucking exist anymore. So I had to take that off all promotion stuff.
I kept getting spammed by Google for about 2 months.
Yeah.
Warning us that it was coming to an end.
I think I did. I just kept ignoring it. Going, fuck off, Google. I'm not interested. So yeah, next week, Dawn of the Mummy, Silver Bullet. We'll see you then. I'll catch you down the pit.
See you on the
Slug pit.
Yeah.
Champion Cinema.